What if you could read the letter to the Colossians the way its original audience did? Welcome to Colossians Greek Podcast, presented by Dr. William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Join us on an exciting biblical journey as we study the book of Colossians verse by verse, unlocking the Greek grammar, word meanings, and vital theology behind the text. For the ultimate study experience, follow along using the coded Greek text. You can download the eSword app or access Bible Hub directly through the links on our website at www.teliosresearch.com. Let's join Dr. Stewart for today's lesson.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. I'm glad you're here. We're in Colossians 1, really still in the introduction. Paul has said who he is, to whom he's addressing in the first two verses. He then says he is thankful for them and prays for them. So today we are in verse 4. So open that Greek text and let's start. First, we have a verb. Let's walk through it. There's no prefix. There's no augment. The root is aku, A-K-O-U. The tense formative is that S-A, meaning the aorist, that one-time punctiliar tense. NT is the morpheme for the active participle. So here we have an aorist, but no augment, and the lengthening of the alpha to an eta at the beginning. So remember that augment tells you it's an indicative past tense, unless it's a perfect participle. We'll have it then too with the reduplication. At least I call it that. So the fact that it's an aorist participle, it should not have an augment. Let's see, TE, I think it mentions the active morpheme for the participle. ES is the plural masculine ending. So hearing. So hearing, teen, pisteen. So we have the article with that accusative, singular, feminine ending. So remember, it's the article that tells you the gender. Pist is a third declension. And in that T, you add the IN for the accusative, singular, feminine in this case. Now, feminine is the same as the masculine in the third declension. So you have to look at the dictionary to know exactly what gender it is, or in this case, of course, look at the article. So in the third declension, remember, it's a waste bag of 6 declensions originally from the Sanskrit. Supposedly, it had 8. So it manifests itself. They amalgamated them to one declension, the third declension, pretty well, except the accusative, you can have some different endings. So in the accusative singular, A is the typical masculine feminine ending. And the neuter for the accusative is like the nominative, okay? So other masculine feminine endings depend on the stem. So an I stem, it ends in an I, will have an I in. So I think the stem here without the S is the I in for pistis. A U stem will have a U in. And then what's another stem you can have is an eta in. So there's a variety of accusative endings. In the plural, it's with the S. So the typical ending would be AS in the masculine feminine, like the nominative and the neuter. But these I, U, and the other stems would have, we have a US and an IS ending, basically. So in the plural, masculine, feminine, you have AS, IS, or US. I hope that helps a little bit. You can always look at the code, Robertson's code, to see what it is. But it's also nice to know a background about what it is, what the Greek means. I try to provide that. And sometimes we just don't know, and sometimes they may not explain it very well. So sorry about that. Okay, hearing, teen, pisteen, umon, very common, your with that omega, and ending the second person plural pronoun genitive. Un, that very common preposition, in, taking the dative Christo, Christ, that omega ending, meaning the dative singular ending for the masculine or neuter. Jesu. Now, this is a little hard because it's also the dative singular. And that is a little confusing because OU would be typically genitive. But there are several nouns, of course, it's Greek, that have irregular dative endings. Putos is one. This one, I don't know of any others. They're pretty uncommon, but it is an irregular dative ending. Kai, and of course, teen, agapine. So here we have another feminine, singular, accusative, and in the article and the agapine is the same ending, so telling you it's probably first declension. Teen. Now this one is not, looks like an article, but is not followed by a noun, so it tells you it's probably a relative pronoun. The love which. Okay, so it's referring back to which in the accusative feminine singular. Is, into, always is going towards. It always takes the accusative going towards. Pontos is that pont, all from the pos dictionary form, and the as accusative plural masculine. Tous, agios. So we have, again, the accusative feminine, masculine, but it's in the article, that ous ending, matching agios, second declension, again, the masculine plural accusative. Okay, so what do we have? Since we've heard of your faith in Christ and the love to all the saints, basically. So Paul is what he's doing here. He's expressed thankfulness for them. He's praying for them. Now he's complimenting them about their love and their faith, which he's heard, which is another interesting point. So he compliments them, but he's heard it from somebody else. So this is a really good example for us in the church. We should commend others for what they are doing well, I think, in the faith, certainly, but other things as well. And when you talk about somebody else, say something good. Okay, Paul heard about the Colossians, not because he knew them or had visited them. It turns out it's from Epaphras, and maybe others, who were saying something good about them, getting a good report. So that helps build fellowship and love and community inside the church. When we commend others to a third party, there's no greater compliment that somebody can receive than when it comes from somebody who said it, not in your hearing. You know, some people say that we shouldn't compliment in the church because that doesn't give glory to Christ. Yeah, when we compliment, recognizing Christ's work in somebody, that encourages them, other people, and gives glory, I think, to Christ. And Paul certainly is a good example of this at the first of almost all his letters. Sometimes he didn't compliment because the church didn't deserve it. You know, the compliments need to be genuine. Okay, thank you for joining me today. We'll continue with this fantastic epistle next time. I hope you'll join me then.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Colossians Greek Podcast, brought to you by Teleios. To maximize your verse-by-verse study, don't forget to use the coded Greek text available through the links on our website at www.teliosresearch.com. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode as we continue unlocking the original text together. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you next time.